So this is a Coachman Amara 382. Going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got the jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. This is all stuff we'll go through in person here on site. In the front locker, you have your gas bottle up on the bulkhead there, with the gas regulator on the bulkhead, and then your gas valve on top of the bottle. The pipe work that goes into the bottle is a reverse thread fitment, so you need to turn it the opposite way to a standard thread to be able to open up the gas supply. The yellow valve that you see pointing towards us up to the left of the picture next to that yellow tag is a gas shut-off valve past the regulator. So when you have the gas supply on, you'd actually put this into the downward position to allow the gas through the system and into the caravan itself. If that valve is turned off, you'll have no gas supply going through into the van, even if the valve on top of the bottle is turned on. On the side of the van, you have your battery locker with mains lead coming into the side of the van, and also you have your wind down leg just behind the locker door, which is through that circle just there. The leg winder for the caravan will be placed in the front locker, so you can wind the legs up and down when you arrive on site. You'd never lift the caravan with the wind down legs. It is just there to stabilise the van while the caravan is being used. In there, you've got your mains lead coming into the side as well in that battery box, and the quick release terminals on top of the battery itself. The motor mover will be demoed while you're here on site to show you it's working correctly when it is hooked up to your car. You've got your pump connection going down into the aqua roll at the side of the caravan, and that connection, very simply, pull the blue trigger back and push into the side of the van and clip back into place, and to release you pull the trigger back and pull it out of the van. The pump then drops down inside the aqua roll, and the blue cover just covers up the top of the aqua roll, so you get nothing inside of there while you're using it. Just here you've got your Truma heating flue, which you remove by pulling it off, as you can see, and you would remove this every time you use the caravan systems on gas, as it is, like I said, it's a flue system for the gas and heating and hot water. Then got your wheels. The wheel nuts will be torqued while you're here on site, so you can see they've been tightened correctly, and that will be one of the last jobs done during the handover process. On the back of the van, you've got your toilet flush tank just here, which takes 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid, and that's essentially your flush system for the caravan. You'd open up with the key, put the water in via a watering can or pipe, etc., and away you go. Toilet cassette in the bottom here. I just need to grab the key to open that, but essentially you've got your toilet waste cassette in there that takes 1 litre of water and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. On the front of the cassette you've got a neck that turns out to allow you to tip the waste away, and on the back of that cassette you'll also find a pressure relief button that you press in to allow the waste to be tipped away when you are tipping it away, so it doesn't spit and splatter back at you essentially. I'll open that up in a second and show you what that looks like. On the other side at the rear of the van, you've got your wind down legs to stabilise the caravan again. Like I said, you'd never lift the caravan with those. And where you see that water dripping at the back of the van, that is actually the grey waste pipe. So at the moment they've got 2 flaps over there to stop the water coming out. But when you're on site, you'd have them flaps open, and you'd have 2 grey pipes that go down into your waste master, so that the water can be drained off, and you'll actually find them in the front locker of the caravan. On the door side of the caravan, you've got the fridge vents, which allow the hot air out the side of the fridge unit. So when you've got the fridge on, whether it be electric, gas or 12 volt, when you turn down the road, this allows that fridge system to keep cool. And behind one of those also you'll have the gas flue for the gas system itself for the fridge. You then have a 3-pin socket for your 240 power supply going into your awning, a storage locker where you can access underneath the front seating area of the van, and on the front of the van you have a barbecue gas point, so you can connect your barbecue up without having to run in a second gas bottle outside of the van. I'm going to go inside the van now and demonstrate how it works on the inside. First thing you need to do when you come inside the caravan, above the door, is turn on the master power switch on the left hand side here. You've then got your internal lights, your awning light from the outside of the van, and your voltmeter for the battery in the locker on the side of the van. The switch here, I'm going to come back to in a moment. I'll explain how that works. So to fill that water system, where that water pump switch becomes part of the system, you first of all need to make sure that the drain down valve underneath the seat down here, which is just below this bit of grey pipe, just there, the two yellow drain down valves, sorry, they need to be parallel with the floor, so the position they're in now, so you're able to fill the water system. If those valves were pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat, it'd actually drain all the water out of the system of the van. So once you've got those 2 yellow valves done up, you'll come over to each tap on the caravan, open them all up on the hot side. As you can see, it's open on the hot side, and the water system will start flowing water through. Or it will once you turn the pump on above the door, sorry. As you can see, I've already got it all turned on, bled ready for you to see it operating. But you turn that switch on once you've got all the taps open, and eventually after 5 minutes or so, you'd have water coming through the taps. And when that is running continuously through the hot side, you can shut each tap down. So then you can start thinking about warming the water. But what I mean by each tap is, I mean the one in the kitchen, the one on the shower, and the one on the sink in the bathroom also. You'd open all of these taps on the hot side of the water heating. Like I said, once that's bled, you have 2 ways of controlling the water heating. Now down on the cabinet where I just took you in to show you where the drain down valves are, you'll actually see 2 switches on the front of here. You've got your 240 water heater switch, which you turn on to allow the water to warm up on electric. And on the left hand side, you've got your control for operating the water system on gas. To operate it on gas, the outside dial here will turn round, you'll turn round to the gas symbol at the bottom. And once it's ignited, you'll control the water temperature on this dial on the outside between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature. Now you can actually just see there on the video that a red light has appeared. That is actually the red fail light to let you know it has failed to ignite due to the fact the gas isn't turned on. If that does ever happen and the gas is turned on, either it could mean the gas bottle is empty, or you need to get gas through the system by going over to the hob, igniting the hob and trying to reignite. We do advise while you're showering on board the van that you use the gas system as a boost. So even if you've got the electric side on, I would advise that you turn the gas side on, because the electric side won't warm up as quick as the gas water heating. Generally, the electric side is around 35 to 40 degrees, and on the gas side you can turn the water temperature up to 70 degrees. To turn the water supply back off, or the gas water heater back off, you'll spin it round to the 0 position just here, and that will turn the gas supply off. You've also, in the cabinet just to the left of those switches, got your 12 volt fuses for the 12 volt systems on board the caravan, and your 240 trip switches with a test switch like you'd see in your house. The next part of the system on board the caravan we're going to come to is the electric heating. To warm the caravan on electric heating, you've got a dial on the cabinet just here. You've got the option of running 500, 1000 or 2000 watts of power into the caravan, and you've got an off position in the centre. So for instance, if I spin this dial to the 500 watts, it'll actually allow the heating to start kicking in at 500 watts of power. The dial that you see here is a temperature control for the heating system, and it'll actually control the amount of elements that comes on inside the heater. I'm going to turn it down for now, or turn it off for now, should I say, sorry. But when you're on site, you'll either have 500, 1000 or 2000 watts of power available. The only way you'd know what power source you can use is asking the caravan site office when you arrive, and they will assist you in letting you know what power source they advise to use. If you're off-grid and you want to use the heating system still on board the caravan, you can do that via gas. So you'd spin the dial on top of the heater itself to the gas position, press down the gas valve and hit the igniter on the right hand side. Once it's ignited on gas, you'd hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds to allow the thermocouple to warm up. The pilot light will be in this window down the front of the heater at around a 45-degree angle, and then once it has ignited, after 5 to 10 seconds, you'd slowly release the gas valve and control the heat of the heater on gas on top. On the left hand side, you have your option to run blown air heating. The dot in the centre here indicates the heat is going to come out the front of the heater. However, when I put this this switch over to the wave symbol, it'll actually allow the hot air to come out the vents around the caravan in different locations, including the shower room. The dial on top here allows you to control the fan speed for the heating, for the blown air heating. On the A, so the wave symbol there is continuous blown air, the A is actually automatic blown air. So essentially what that does is it cuts in and out with the thermostat, depending on whether you've got it on gas or the electric heating. If you're using the electric side, it'll probably be more efficient, and we do advise that overnight you don't run the gas system for heating, you just use the electric side if you're on an electric site. We go to the fridge next and demonstrate how that works. So behind me, we've got an on-off switch on the fridge. As you'll see there, when I press and hold, it'll turn the fridge off. turn the fridge on, you press the power button. At the moment, it's letting me know that we've got no 12-volt power coming into the caravan from the car we are towing with. So essentially, when you're towing down the road, you can use the fridge as a call box when you're connected to the car. But before you start towing, you need to come inside and turn it onto the 12-volt mode in here. And at that point, the temperature control on the right-hand side is completely irrelevant because it is just a call box and not a fridge. To change the power source that we're using, you've got the option to run gas here. So it will self-ignite on gas. You don't need to touch the controls at all. And when it ignites on gas, this light at the bottom will be your pilot light. If it fails to ignite, that will flash blue to indicate it has failed. And you'll also get a warning code 9 on the right hand side. Again, that could mean it needs to get gas through the system, and I'd advise going to the hob to ignite that. 240 volt, very simple to use. You connect it to mains power, the fridge will kick in and start operating as you'd expect it to. On the right hand side then, as well as on the gas, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right. And that will allow, and the higher these bars go, essentially, the colder the fridge will be. The last thing I'm going to go through on the inside of the van, because I'd imagine the cooker is pretty self-explanatory. Gas controls on the front with your igniter between the two buttons at the end here. Toilet system in the bathroom, again, very simple to use. You've got a manual pump flush on top, so you pump the flush up and down on top. You've got a grey waste flap down here, which you need to push open to allow the toilet waste to go in the cassette underneath the van. And the toilet does turn for your convenience, which at the moment I can't do because the cassette's not in place properly. But you'll be able to turn that toilet round to allow the toilet to be more comfortable to use. But when you are emptying the cassette from underneath the van, you'd need to make sure it's in the position it is now, because then you'd be able to pull out the waste cassette from underneath the van. It has 2 lockout tabs on there, so you can't remove it while it's being used. On top here, you have a full indicator light that indicates to you the toilet waste cassette needs to be emptied. So that is the Coachman Amara 382. If you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to call us here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We thank you for your business, and we hope you enjoy the caravan. Thank you, and goodbye for now.